All right, black cosplay. Listen, I don't get it, and maybe one day I will, but that's why I'm asking you. Why is it that when it comes to cons, when it comes to people showing off their pictures of them cosplaying, and I get it, nobody wants to dress up and do, I guess folks don't want to dress up and be somebody that nobody knows. But it's like, when I see black folks, you would think all the hate that they get for just being, for us just existing, for us going to cons. And I get that we want to show white folks that, oh, look, we can cosplay whoever we want. We're free. You know, we're not going to be bound to just do black characters. But I think when you do that and you try so hard to shove that in white folks' face, it's like, but what about all the black characters that you're ignoring, that you never cosplay as? And we literally have, DC has over 300 black characters. Marvel has over 200. You can go look that up. I got receipts for days. We got so many black characters, African American characters that never see the light of day in the cosplay world because we're so busy trying to be the next Sailor Moon, trying to be the next Raven, trying to be the, and it's and I guess I have to officially, oh, that's great that we do that, but it kind of sucks because every time you look up, there's another black person with a wig on, looking like a character that in a genre that doesn't even like. It be sometimes like the type of anime characters that they dress up as. Like the anime still has black people looking like monkeys with big lips and stuff. It's so weird. Maybe it's a young generation thing. I'm into superheroes, and so you're a blerd. I'm not a blerd. I'm just a collector. I'm just into superheroes. I'm not into all the blerd culture, right? So my question is to you, how come we don't represent ourselves more in cosplay? Why aren't we more prideful at doing that versus trying to look like everybody else when everybody else ain't trying to look like us in cosplay? I'm out.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? So, Black Comic Lords, great question about why do black cosplayers cosplay so much of non-black characters when other races aren't cosplaying our characters? And I think, man, that's a heavy loaded question. So I think number one reason for that is that when it comes to cosplay, when it comes to IPs, there is definitely a limit to of appeal for anything that's still on print. So you either got a comic book or a manga, there's definitely a limit of exposure for those IPs. Once those IPs turn into live action adaptations, cartoons, or video games, then you see the result of the popularity of the character or the IP at these conventions. So you can take a look at something like Miles Morales. When Enter the Spider-Verse came out, now you see a plethora of Miles Morales cosplayers around. Black Panther. Nobody was really cosplaying T'Challa or Black Panther like that until Civil War. Then we go into Black Panther's own film, boom, now you see more of it. It's the same. Iron Man, you look at Star-Lord, no one was cosplaying Star-Lord before Guardians of the Galaxy came out. So, and if you look at manga compared to anime, once the anime comes out, it's like everyone cosplays as the character or the characters, and it's like a synergy. So you'll see that when something new comes out, Loki series, guess what? All the Loki cosplayers come out and showcase their outfits, you know? Look at Falcon, right? I'll use myself for example. When Falcon premiered Winter Soldier, that I love the character so much on screen that caused me to want to do my own little iteration. And when these characters get the exposure on TV, films, anime, whatever, it's not just the TV version that gets cosplayed. It's different versions as well. Next month, Black Adam comes out. Guess what? You'll see Black Adam cosplayers at the convention now, well, more of them. And some of them will do the comic version because they want to be maybe a little bit different. It's just that the exposure for the characters reflect the popularity of them at these conventions. So if Static Shock were to get a live action movie, best believe you're gonna see more Static Shock cosplayers. Milestone, if that animated film comes out, best believe you're gonna see more people dressing up as Icon, Hardware, Rocket, etc., etc. So on print, there's definitely a limit to appeal. Once these IPs go to movies, television, animation, video games, then you'll see the reflective popularity of the character at these conventions. My second answer to that is that when you have these IPs go popular, they become more accessible. So when Black Panther gets made in 2016 with Civil War and people want, it becomes popular to cosplay that character, guess what? The Chinese makers, all the cosplay makers, the people who make the costumes for money, they make the pattern, and then other makers copy the pattern, or someone makes a sub-dye pattern of the costume and more people order it. So it becomes not just this big investment, like I gotta be the first one to invest in Black Panther's new suit. Because it's so popular, these makers are already making it, so it becomes more accessible. The ease of access is there, where I don't have to throw down $500 to get a semi-decent Black Panther outfit anymore. All I need to do is about $200 for the suit, and then maybe $100 for maybe the Hasbro Legends, whatever, toy helmet, because that's accessible. Or maybe there's a prop maker out there who'll do the helmet for $100, because he's gonna make tons of them because he knows it'll sell, rather than someone who has to make something very unique, something from scratch, and that's gonna cost you 2 or 3 times more to commission. So when a character becomes popular, then the effect of it is that character becomes more accessible to cosplay. And there's different levels of cosplay. Something like a Raven is really super simple. So that's easily accessible for someone to do. Rather than, let's just say, Riri Williams. When Riri Williams comes out, you're not gonna see as many Riri Williams as Raven, because armor, the props, the LEDs, it's a lot more complex suit to finish, rather than something like Raven or Starfire, or like Black Widow, who's just basically spandex and a few weapons or whatever, right? Even look at, on the anime side, Demon Slayer, that's really just people wearing some very highly, nicely fashioned kimonos and patterned shirts in a black uniform underneath it. Very accessible, not expensive to cosplay at all. So it really is accessibility, and the price points for these costumes and how complex it is makes it a lot easy for people to cosplay as these characters. You run around, you're not gonna find too many legit Iron Mans at a convention. You're not gonna find like a legit Ninja Turtle at a convention, or a legit Predator. But you might find someone who wears a semi-decent or decent Captain America, Sam Wilson, or Steve Rogers version, because the suit is more accessible rather than something armored, something layered and textured and things like that. So definitely accessibility would be the second reason why. My third reason why Black cosplayers don't cosplay as Black characters is that essentially it requires more work. Like I said, the exposure to these characters aren't really there for some of them. Like you said, DC Comics has 200, Marvel has 200. There's over hundreds of characters, Black characters in the mainstream for Marvel and DC. You gotta do a little research to get into those. You gotta do it requires some work. You may not see that character featured prominently in a new Spider-Man cartoon or Avengers cartoon. You gotta go on print to find them out. So it requires more work. It requires more going against the grain. Again, like you mentioned, less attention. You'll get less attention if you cosplay as an indie comic book creator's creation. You just will. You won't get the same attention. And we know when it comes to monetizing and the social media age, it's whatever can grab you the most eyeballs, whatever can get you the most attention, whatever can get you the most benefit of cosplaying that character. So yeah, I'll do a movie version of Shuri, but I will not touch Misty Knight. I'm gonna get more clout for Shuri than Misty Knight. You know what I'm saying? I'll get more clout for doing Black Widow than I would for Calypso, Craven's wife or whatever, So things like that. It's a little bit of a hierarchy of terms of like, oh, these characters are more appealing, and these characters are underground and require more work to kind of bring out to the surface. The hardcore fans are gonna do it. Hardcore fans are gonna do it, and things come in trends. Things comes in trends. Anime-wise, I remember when I was getting into cosplay back in 2011, you had Tiger and Bunny, you had Hetalia, you had Panty and Stocking, and those characters aren't featured prominently anymore. Things come in different waves, so whatever is trending right now, whatever is big, people will, the byproduct of that is people are gonna really cosplay and do those characters. Harley Quinn blew up because of Margot Robbie. Now everyone cosplays Harley Quinn at a convention. Now, don't get me wrong, there was a good number of people who did the anime, of course, the animated feature, definitely cartoon series in the 90s helped. That was the first appearance. Prominently make that character accessible for everybody. But when Margot Robbie, the movie version, came in, and you see the accessibility is just really shorts, tank top, wig, do you change up your hair or whatever, and you're good to go. So anime-wise, that is a whole self-identity crisis I will not go into prominently in this one. I've done a couple previous videos on behind-the-scenes podcasts, but for whatever reason, when it comes to this nerddom, black fans, black nerds aren't really innovating. We're following a lot. We're not really into changing the culture. We can innovate fashion, we can innovate food, we can innovate in sports, we can innovate for music, all these different things. But nerdom, comics, manga, for whatever reason, we're really struggling to break through into pioneer things and follow and do the trend-setting things rather than just, I'm gonna follow the biggest anime that's out right now. I'm gonna follow the biggest show out right now. I'm gonna follow the biggest movie out right now. Instead of saying, hey, we're gonna do our own thing, and then everyone, like, look at hip hop. Everyone's gonna follow us when we make hip hop, when we do things cool. And then for whatever reason, anime and the Asian culture thing is just really taking over everything. Really accessible, and I think it's sometimes a little bit unhealthy to do a little bit of that. It's almost like worshiping. It is basically worshiping. But the anime discussion will definitely be for another video. But I definitely feel like those would be the main reasons why black cosplayers don't cosplay as black characters as much. And I think it's a shame. And I think a simple solution to that, the next big superhero film, black cast. The next big cartoon has a black cast. The next big anime has a majority black cast, and you will see the trifecta of like, oh, this is big now, and then you'll see people dress up more as those characters. But we know, as a comic fan, and we know the hurdles that takes to make something reach that level with characters of color. But things are changing, you never know. So I appreciate the question, Black Comic Lords. With that, we're out. Peace.